Hey everybody, welcome to Fantasy R&R. This is your host Ryan.
And I'm Rob.
And this is our Fantasy Football Week 3 preview.
This is Fantasy with Rob and Ryan, Fantasy R&R.
That's right, we're going to preview every game of Week 3, giving you our fantasy players of the game, and eventually our game of the week.
Panthers at Texans.
Ryan, go.
I'm going to be picking DJ Moore. He's been on fire so far, and with the emergence of Sam Darnold as a QB1 again, I think he's going to be a prime target to take over all of the workload of this game while they keep Christian McCaffrey on a leash in the background. That's what I'm thinking here. I'm going to say DJ Moore scores the most points in this entire game. Rob, go.
I'm going receiver with the Panthers as well, Robbie Anderson. I think this is going to be an all-out air raid for the Panthers on a very bad Texans defense. Robbie Anderson will score a touchdown.
Washington football team at Bills.
Ryan, go.
I'm going to say Gabriel Davis here. This is somebody I was high on as a breakout star of this year, potentially. He's getting minimum targets, but he's doing everything he can with them. I think this is one of those games where Diggs is going to be doing a little bit of decoy work. Beasley's going to get some slot work, but Gabriel Davis might come down with 2 touchdowns against this Washington football team defense. Rob, go.
Yep, I'm going to go J.D. McKissick. Early on in the season, I'm looking at trends. I saw McKissick get a lot of snaps last week, vultured a touchdown from Gibson. I want to see if this is going to continue to be a split field in the backfield for the Washington football team, especially without Fitzmagic this week.
Bears at Browns.
Ryan, go.
I'm going to say Cole Kmet finally breaks out. We've seen Justin Fields finally take the field after Andy Dalton goes down with this injury, and it looks like he's going to be out for a while. So I say Cole Kmet, you're finally going to get some targets, and it's not just going to be the Allen Robinson show. In a showdown between the Bears and the Browns, where the Browns are coming back with an injured Odell Beckham Jr. and a underwhelming Baker Mayfield, I say Cole Kmet finally breaks out and has the biggest fantasy performance of this game. Rob, go.
Yep, going Justin Fields on this one. I'm excited to see how this pans out. I think this could be like a Jalen Hurts situation of last year with the Eagles. I think Fields is going to be their guy, and I think everybody on the Chicago's offense is going to get a huge boost from this dude. But, you know, it's going to be his first start. Let's see how things pan out, and this could be very good things going forward.
Ravens at Lions.
Ryan, go.
All right, I'm going to take Hollywood Brown here. I think he's been an underappreciated fantasy asset. People still think Lamar Jackson only uses his legs and can't throw, but go look at the numbers. Hollywood Brown is tearing it up right now, and I think he's going to continue to do that against the Lions defense with a lot of holes in it. This is your wide receiver to have in this game. I am just firmly believing that Hollywood Brown's going to come down with 100 yards and a TD. Get him while you can, because he's actually still out there in some leagues, amazingly. Rob, go.
Again, I'm sitting here looking at trends week 3 on Detroit's side of the ball. Receiver Quentin Cephas. I want to see if he's going to continue to get the lion's share of the targets for Detroit going forward. I think this could be a big one for him if he does end up getting the amount of volume that he saw last week. He is going to be a must-add going into week 4.
Colts at Titans.
Ryan, go.
All right, I'm going to take A.J. Brown in this game. He has been underutilized so far with a Tannehill that has not been playing like the Manahill he was last year. This is finally the time for A.J. Brown to break out. Julio Jones has been making some costly penalties, and they can't just use Derrick Henry until he's running to the ground. Maybe I'm wrong on that one, but A.J. Brown is your guy to have in this game. Just get him back into your lineups. Start him with confidence as a wide receiver 1. Rob, go.
Yep, I'm looking at Michael Pittman Jr. had a big week last week. There's some uncertainty about Carson Wentz starting this week. Of course, if Wentz is sitting, I would not want to have anything with any Colts receiver. The backup being that of the Texas quarterback that they drafted last year. I don't want to have anything to do with it, but if Wentz is starting, Michael Pittman Jr. I think could end up being a big breakout this year.
Chargers at Chiefs.
Ryan, go.
All I want to say here is I hate Mike Williams. Mike Williams, you've been on my team since 2017 when I drafted you. You've been injured on and off, or when you're finally healthy, I start you and you get me 0 points. Now that I've cut you, suddenly you're a fucking superstar. Go fuck yourself, Mike Williams. Rob, go.
Well said. I'm looking at Justin Herbert. He's been kind of shaky so far to begin the season. I think the Chiefs defense, we've talked before, has had its holes in it. I want to see if he's going to air it out. Receivers everywhere, including your favorite Mike Williams. should potentially have a big game if Justin Herbert can air it out this week.
Saints at Patriots.
Ryan, go.
The Saints defense has been looking pretty average lately, so I want to say to all you people out there that want to buy low in the ADP leagues, or if you're in a PPR league, get James White into your flex position right now. I think he's going to blow up with a bunch of receiving yards in this game and possibly a couple of goal line touchdowns. James White is your guy to have in the Saints-Patriots showdown. Rob, go.
Yeah, tight end is the worst position in fantasy football. We know this. Jawan Johnson is a guy who had a nice week 1 with 2 touchdowns, had just only 3 targets last week, catching 1, but for 24 yards. I want to see if he's going to continue to be targeted, especially again week 3.
Falcons at Giants.
Ryan, go.
All right, I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts on this one. I think this is going to be the game where they're against a bad enough defense that Matt Ryan can cut through and get the ball to Pitts in the end zone. I think they're going to be in the red zone more often than not. And the running game with Mike Davis is not something I'm too concerned about at the goal. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be that target. This is it. Calvin Ridley is going to be double covered all game. Kyle Pitts, we're depending on you. Play like you were drafted number 4 overall. Rob, go.
Yep, I'm looking at a guy who was drafted just last year for the Giants, Kadarius Toney. If this is now Daniel's breakout season, if you will, I want to see if Toney's going to see any type of share. With 1 ball and plenty of receivers and a tight end to go around, I want to see if this dude can get break free and have just a huge game. He's one of these guys, just a speedster down the line, and could potentially have like an 80-yard reception in this game, and it could be better going forward.
Bengals at Steelers.
Ryan, go.
I'm going to say Najee Harris for this one. We are not getting the return value we expected when you draft a number 1 overall in a fantasy dynasty league. But right now, even behind this bad O-line, I think this is the week that he can just torch the Bengals and show what he's made out of. An underwhelming 3.2 YPC on the year. That's all right. Calm down. He's going to be used in the receiving game as well. Najee Harris will be the highest scoring player in this matchup. Rob, go.
Yep, I'm staying on the same team. A guy who was drafted last year, Pat Friarmuth. We've talked about this guy at extent. I think if this isn't the week, it will be soon, but he is starting to see more shares of the ball. They got to be confident this guy can catch, because he can in fact catch and can be a game winner going forward. Pat Friarmuth, look at him everywhere on waiver wires.
Cardinals at Jaguars.
Ryan, go.
This, of course, has to be said, Jackson DeVille. The Jaguars are absolutely fucking terrible, and they're playing a competent Cardinals defense where they're going to get torched by the running game and Kyler Murray the entire time. They're going to be playing from behind, they're going to be desperate, and it's going to look like shit. Jackson DeVille, you do some entertaining things on that field in Jacksonville, probably the most entertaining things we've ever seen when you consider all of our football games combined. The real winner here is going to be the mascot of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and anybody that doesn't have a Jaguar on their fantasy team. Rob, go.
Yeah, I was actually just pulled up the injured list here. It looks like Jackson DeVille is on suicide watch, so let's look out for that. My guy is Rondale Moore, receiver for the Cardinals. Had a great career in Purdue and is starting to make waves the first 2 weeks. Had a great touchdown last week and busted coverage. This guy is fast. It looks like Kyler Murray's trusting this guy. And just as you had said, with Kyler Murray passing the ball the way he is this year, you want a receiver of some sort from Arizona. And this week with that horrible, horrible Jaguars defense, Rondale Moore is my guy.
Jets at Broncos.
Ryan, go.
All right, for this one, I'm actually going to say Broncos defense. Zach Wilson looks like he's been sliding into Nathan Peterman's DMs, throwing pick after pick, and it's been looking terrible. Broncos D has a great secondary. I've been saying this before the season started. This is probably one of those teams you want to get on your roster as early as possible before they start to catch on. They've got great backs. Surtain's there. Go ahead and get that Broncos D. They're going to shut the Jets down. That's going to be your highest scoring fantasy player of the week, is that defense. Rob, go.
Yes, Ryan, I'm going to plead the fifth on this one.
Dolphins at Raiders.
Ryan, go.
All right, Henry Ruggs III. This guy is always down the middle seam, just trying to burn down the field. He's got incredible speed, but he's got this guy named Derek Carr throwing to him. Well, if Carr is going to keep up how he's been playing the last few weeks, now it's time to start trusting Ruggs. He can be that deep threat target that they just go to over and over again, and he's going to have those big boomer bust days and those big boomer bust plays, but this is when he does it. Henry Ruggs will be the guy to torch the Dolphins defense just like they got torched by the Bills last week. Rob, go.
Yeah, with Tua looking like he's going to be out this week and a few weeks to go, Miami is going to have to find some sort of definition of a running back in that backfield. I'm going Myles Gaskin in this game. This guy has too much talent to not be doing what he could potentially be doing. I'm going Myles Gaskin. Dolphins the rest of the year is scaring me, but let's go Myles Gaskin.
Buccaneers at Rams.
Ryan, go.
For this one, I'm going to say COVID is the winner here. Why? Because Antonio Brown is out after testing positive for COVID. The problem is we're pretty sure he's vaccinated, as is everybody on Tampa who wants to be in the starting role via Bruce Arians. That means they're not getting tested all the time as per NFLPA protocols at the moment. Antonio Brown could have given this to other players, and he might be out this game himself, or maybe he tests positive the next few days, gets to play, but he's giving it to Tom Brady. I think everything could be screwed up by Sunday, and COVID is the winner of this fantasy experience here. Rob, go.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an actual person, and that actual person is named Matt Stafford. I want to see if this Matt Stafford on a team full of huge weapons can get the job done. I think this is going to be a really great game, but I'm going Matt Stafford, big points. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are just going to feast this week. I'm very interested to see how this works.
Seahawks at Vikings.
Ryan, go.
For this one, I'm going to say Kirk Cousins. We always hate on Kirk Cousins. We think he's one of those guys who's just always putting up good-looking QB stats but can't get the job done in a fantasy league or in a real game when it actually matters. But this is it. The Seahawks defense is still bad. Kirk Cousins has been torching defenses through the air. So we're going to see it. We're going to see Kirk Cousins come out, and if he dies, he dies. But if he plays great, awesome. Rob, go.
Yeah, this is going to be my game of the week. I think there is going to be fantasy points galore in this one, and I'm interested. Again, I'm looking at trends this week. I'm looking at KJ Osborne. You know, Kirk Cousins has got the ball to spread around to plenty of receivers. KJ Osborne, being in his second year, is seeing some volume, and he's looking pretty dang good at that. So I'm very interested to see how this game shakes up this week, but KJ Osborne is my guy.
Packers at 49ers.
Ryan, go.
Brandon Ayuk. We have not seen him utilized too much. There's an incident where Shanahan insinuated that he might not be ready to keep taking over the big share of the field now that Debo's back and he's got to play better. Well, Ayuk has run a touchdown in. He's looking pretty decent lately. I think he's going to get back in there and get a higher percentage of the snaps, and he's going to shock everyone by getting a couple of TDs against the Packers, who are probably game planning for other weapons on the 49ers. Brandon Ayuk, that's my take on this one. Rob, go.
Yep, looking at Trey Sermon. This has got to be a huge. Again, another team that's running back situation has got to be sorted out. I believe Trey Sermon's going to be the best guy for it. I said he's been dealing with injuries, but there's also a lot of there's a lot of hearsay about him being lazy and whatnot. The running backs are a dime a dozen, if you will, and Trey Sermon has the potential to be, I believe, the way he was drafted, to be a pretty good running back for a pretty good football team. So Trey Sermon, if this isn't the week, it's coming very soon.
Eagles at Cowboys.
Ryan, go.
I'm going to say Jalen Hurts. You know how high I am on this guy. It's a Cowboys defense with a lot of holes in it. Jalen Hurts is going to return back to week 1 form, and he's going to get things done through the air. He's got weapons on this team. He's got Goddard. He's got Devontae Smith. He's got Jalen Reagor to go to, Miles Sanders in the backfield, Kenneth Gainwell. He's got all the tools he needs to make it happen. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have that 30 to 40 point fantasy game that we all know he can achieve with that dual threat of his. Rob, go.
Yeah, speaking of holes in Dallas, Debbie Does Dallas was a great movie. I am looking at Dallas Goddard. I do believe that you are correct with Dallas's defense. Dallas Goddard had a great week 1. Week 2 was a little lackluster, but again, playing a very solid 49ers defense. Cowboys aren't even close. And I think the Eagles are taking this one. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch.
And I think that's going to be my game of the week, Eagles and Cowboys. It's going to be a high-scoring affair on a Monday night on the national stage. It's absolutely perfect. We got 2 quarterbacks of color. Twitter's going to eat that up. You know it's going to be great. It's going to be tremendous, and that's my game of the week. And that's going to wrap it up for our Week 3 preview. Once again, this was Fantasy R&R with Rob and Ryan. We will see you next time.